don't know if this is working. I don't really know what's going on. It's not showing. Oh, there you go. All right. There was some difficulty because for some reason you guys couldn't see me anymore. But I hope this helps. We're back. I hope that doesn't happen again. I don't know what happened. It's just like it wasn't loading at all. Trying to see what that is. But we're back. We're back. We're ready to go. Ugh, trying to pick up some of my stuff that I have down here. Just a bunch of water bottles. All right. Thank you for sticking around, for those of you who did previously, and letting me know that the stream wasn't loading. I don't know what happened. I think it's my internet. It's really windy out today. So I think my internet failed once, and then it just didn't want to recover after that. But thank you so much for letting me know. Let me just type something in chat. Hello, Leah. I'm just typing something in the chat right now. Well, we have the people who were previously on my live stream rejoining, because if for some reason it cut out, it wasn't loading for everybody, and I was very confused. But we're back, and yeah, so thank you. I'm trying to see if I can share with you guys my jewelry Instagram. I don't know if it will take it. Yep, there you go. How are you, Leah? I hope you're doing well. All right, so I was metal cutting and I don't know what happened. The stream just didn't load, so I had to restart the stream. Again, I think it was my internet. It's really windy out. And I think it might have ended once and just not reloaded again. So, but we're back. And I'm working on this rose. I hope you can kind of see what I'm doing. I can't get you guys to be any closer than this, so I apologize. And hopefully, for those of you joining me for the first time, the sewing is not too loud. And I'm actually trying to enjoy myself this time. I'm trying to relax while doing this. And if you hear any noise in the background, it's my bird. She's literally right next to me. And if I talk for a long period of time, she starts talking. And if she hears the saw make weird noises, she likes to call it out. There we are. Seems terrifying. Let's not mention how in the stream that I just ended, I literally made my first cut and my blade saw broke and it hit the camera. Love that for me. I'm pretty sure a lot of people got scared when my saw hit the camera. But hey, it's better if it hits the camera than it hits me. But it seems like the sun is coming in a little bit. It's moving towards this side of the house, so we should be getting a little bit more sunlight, which means that I can see better. And if there's any questions, if there's anything that you would like to see closer, feel free to ask. I can cut and talk a little bit. I feel like I'm getting worse, but honestly, it would be a really good practice for when I start teaching again. Because while I teach, I have to give a lot of explanation. So it's a good practice to get into cutting and talking and all that stuff. And as I was saying previously, this rose is super relaxing to cut. It just has a lot of big open movement. Nothing is too close together, so I don't have to be stressed about potentially making lines too thin to the point of separation. Or by separation, I mean like the lines breaking or the copper breaking. That's what I mean. And I'm trying to take it slow so I can enjoy the process. But I've been metal cutting for 5 years, so I'm really fast at it. But I'm trying to at least take it slow so I enjoy it to some capacity. Here we are. Boop. And you can't really see what I'm doing off camera, but I'm just feeding the blade back in through the back and tightening the saw and coming back. almost done. I get a little bit quiet when I'm doing this. I'm just like really enjoying cutting this piece of, not piece of copper, but this design specifically. The rose is really satisfying to do because the details aren't too small where I have to switch positions too fast, and they're also not complicated in any way. And I do have to be a little bit more precise with this one because usually a more minimalistic design means that it's a little bit harder, or the imperfections come through a lot easier. So this is a thing of being a little bit of a perfectionist. But we're already to the stem. And there goes my bird. She shouldn't be talking for too long, but if she does, I'll cover her up. But a lot of the time it's just the saw noise that is triggering her. This is a brand new saw blade. Well, not brand new, but it's a new one because I broke the other one. Gonna lube it a little bit though because it might be a little bit too rusty. And she can hear it. All right. She is playing in her cage though, so she shouldn't be that bothered. But you'll never know. Okay, I need to calm down, take it slow. It's a little bit harder to be like, oh, calm down, take it slow with this. When this copper is literally so thin and it cuts like butter. And oops. Oh, and so because it's thin and it cuts like butter, I can literally just move through it so quickly. So me saying taking it slow, really not that working. Just because, I don't know, I'm used to working at a fast pace. But I am enjoying cutting this design. I should probably do more roses because they're currently fun right now. I'm very, one of my favorite, I don't know if art genre would be a thing, because I don't want to say art styles or art medium. Maybe art medium? I love architecture, is what I'm trying to say. I want to do one of these inspired by architecture because I've been looking at a lot of it. And where I'm going to have my vendor show, the place is so beautiful. I kind of do want to have some more architectural pieces. But that would have to come later. I have to order more supplies for something like that. Okay, I'm gonna cut this way because I think I screwed up when I drilled the hole. It's more out than I wanted it to be. But that's okay. Ah. Just going back in and fixing that a little bit. As long as I'm able to fix it, it should be fine. And off camera, I'm just feeding the saw blade through the design. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody's looking forward to the weekend. I'm making carrot cake this weekend, I think. I made cake today. Not today, but this week. So I kind of don't want to make carrot cake because I already made cake. I made a different type of cake. I totally forgot that Easter was coming up, and I was like, oh, I told my mom I was going to make carrot cake later, but maybe I will save it for Mother's Day. And make a carrot cake then, since I recently just made cake. But that was my plan for the weekend, and I don't think that's my plan anymore. And we only have 5 more holes left to cut. There's a few things that I keep reminding me myself to do. And I'm like, okay, soft grip. Take it slow. Strain your back. Because otherwise, my back is going to be killing me at the end of the day. And now we go all the way back. We slide all the way back. That's the other side. I can actually kind of not see where I'm cutting, but I'm still cutting copper. So that's interesting. Here we are. Okay. There we are. And now we have 4 holes to go. Sorry, my voice keeps leaving me. I don't know why it's so dry today. Maybe because it's cold outside and I just had cold water. This is really not the best noise. And this copper is so thin that it vibrates a lot more, which means it just makes more noise because of the saw. And the tooth of this blade are so fine that it just allows for more noise making. But I hope the noise isn't too bad. It's not my favorite, but I am wearing a microphone that shouldn't pick it up as much. On the first day of streaming, the microphone that I was using was so, I don't know, not loud, but it catches a lot of noise. And it caught that, so. Another thing that I want to do is buy a new chair because I'm currently sitting on my desk chair and it's one that goes up and down, so I can make it higher, and right now it's at its lowest setting, but it's still not low enough for me. Because I'm still having to, I mean, it's fine. The 90-degree angle that I need is there, but it's just a little bit annoying. Because I feel like I'm hunched over more than I want to. But then also this is just a perfect side or perfect height for moving the piece. Because my left hand is at 90 degrees. But my other one is a little bit lower than that because I'm sawing with it. There is a lot of dust that this saw blade produces, which is a good sign. And it's not a lot of like thin sawdust, it's like fairly thick. So that's an even better sign about the quality of the blade. So now we're on our last hole. And that's that for this rose. It was nice and simple to cut. All right, there we go. And that's the last hole. Now I do smack this a little bit just because sometimes sawdust gets stuck in there. And that's just a good way to clean it, but this is what it's looking like. Looks pretty good. As I said, the rose is very simplistic. There isn't much to it. So it serves its purpose. Now we're gonna move on to the next piece, which I think we're gonna work on this butterfly. I don't know if that's better or if that's better. That's better. We're gonna work on this bottom half of this butterfly. Again, I did a live stream, I think it was on Monday, and I cut, or was it on Monday? No, I think it was on Saturday. I did a live stream on Saturday. We have this butterfly. The bull and the cat were cut in that video, and today we're working on the bottoms of that. So with the butterfly, it's this design which I call the flowy design. This one is gonna go by really fast because these sets of 3 dots are small, so I'm gonna go, those are really easy to cut, and then it's just a bunch of lines thereafter, and those are gonna be really easy to cut as well. So this design is gonna go by really fast, and I'm gonna start by cutting all of the 3 leaves that come at the end of the stem. And it's just literally like that. There's 2 cuts that are being made. And there's just going back in and fixing anything that I think needs a little bit better shaping. That looks good. I look at the back and I'm like, okay, that looks good. Move on to the next one. So that's what that is. It's going to be very simple, those designs. But yeah, I don't know if we'll do the rose today, actually. Not the rose, the flower. Even though, unlike the flower, it just takes the longest, and then also it's the most annoying to do on camera. I've done a live stream on it before, so I feel like I don't really want to do it again this time. But we do have a horse to cut, and I think that will be fun. So we could focus on that instead. All right. That's looking good. Very easy, very simple, nothing to it. I think I didn't drill one hole. No, I didn't. It's not drilled through all the way anyway. So I'm gonna have to go back and drill it. Which is okay. It's a possibility that that's where my drill died and I just thought I drilled through it, but I didn't. I didn't check when I drilled it the second time. Alright, so we're gonna drill this hole. The drill is a little bit louder than the metal cutting. So just keep that in mind. I'm gonna dip it. Just need a little bit for this. And I'm moving the sound away from me. There you go. And it's drilled. It's that simple. Okay. I think a lot of people are going to be annoyed that I didn't check if it was in full battery, but I literally only needed to drill one hole, so I don't think it matters. There we are. And then we're moving to the next set of 3, which is right here. I think this bottom design with the butterfly looks beautiful. There's a lot of similarities in the flowiness of them. So I think they go really well together. This design, this flowy design actually goes well with a lot of the top designs that I created. Oh no. Say oh no because I messed up. But it's okay, it's fixable. This is not what I wanted. And the sun keeps leaving. It's almost as if it's going to rain, which I think it was. So it still might rain. And that's why the sky is cloudy and the sun is leaving me. And I hate that because I personally like working when the sun is out. It just like regenerates my energy. And it also allows me to see better. I can see currently, but I can see more when the sun is out. And I don't like, there we go. And I don't like lighting from a lamp or anything when I'm metal cutting. It just makes me feel like blah. All right, so we finished that set of 3. We're moving to this one. And these tiny leaves, they go by really fast. I have to make just 2 lines. So they're really not that exciting. They're not exciting, but they're effective at what they do. And that's all I need them to do, just to be effective. Oh no. My blade is okay, if anybody's wondering. That could have been bad. If I had a cheaper blade, that blade would have broken. But these blades are like super flexible, and that's something that I love about them, especially when it's like live streaming and stuff and I just don't have the best of angles and all that. It's just helpful to have one that is not gonna break easily. And I can see that I'm making a lot of imperfections, but they're just a little bit hard to see due to the paper that's on top right now. So once I start sanding them, I'm gonna see the imperfections and go back and fix them. And we're gonna go to this one. But I'm looking at the back and they don't seem too bad. And I usually look at the backs to know what designs I'm gonna have to clean up the most during the sanding period. But it shouldn't be too bad. I think the sanding period is my least favorite part of the whole process just because my hand hurts after hand sanding. It's not fun. And sanding these pieces is also not that fun. Because in order for the sanding to look good, because it is hand sanded, in order for the sanding to be good, I have to sand this way. So I have to sand horizontal to the piece. And I don't know why that's really annoying. It would make more sense, right, to sand it this way. The problem with doing it vertically or following the length of the piece is that when you look at it to the front, you can actually see all of the sanding marks because it is hand sanded. I don't know if I can show this one over here as an example. Like this is one that's already been sanded. You can see how shiny it is. So this is sanded, polished. This is not sanded, polished, just matte. So, but when you hold it up, it's currently rusty because I haven't cleaned it. But when you hold it up, everything lines up like this. So you can't really see that it's been like sanded by hand. But if I sand it upwards and you look at it straight, you will see those sanding marks. I don't know how that works, but I accidentally sanded one piece wrong in making the sanding go upwards. And it bothered me all the time that the sanding was done in that way. So for these pieces, I do have to go horizontal. And that's a little bit annoying, but it's kind of what I have to do for it to look good. So now we'll go to this one. This one is a little bit harder to know. Okay, we're good. But yeah, that's the part I'm not looking forward to. And based on the voting that I held, a lot of people like the more shiny finish to the pieces. So that's the finish that some of these are gonna have. I might do a more textured finish for others because that one was also really liked. The only difference between both is the oxidization, which these pieces aren't meant to oxidize and patina over time, but they're not going to be that bad. They're not exactly going to rust away. And they're very easy to clean. Sorry, I got confused. They're very easy to clean. But that's the deal with them. I'll show an example here of what I'm expecting these to look like. So, do I have, okay, I do. So there's a piece that I've actually purposely like rusted over time. I need a white piece of paper for the camera to actually catch it. So this koi fish, nope, that's impossible. But you can see that it's green in some areas. This has been kind of manipulated to have that finish, and it looks pretty and it looks good, but that's not going to happen to your piece unless you get some type of like unless you get vinegar on it or anything that is very acidy. And your fingerprints do contain a lot of oils, contain a lot of acid in them, and so they will oxidize these pieces over time, or patina them over time, but it's not going to be that bad. Where are my examples? Right here. So I showed these in the last live stream, but this is an earring that I wore for 2 years and that I literally cleaned the other day with just this cloth that is meant to be used for glasses, to clean your glasses. And this used to be very orange, almost brown, and I cleaned it and it got all of those rainbowy colors. So it's, you can see that there's almost like a layer of blue, purple, pink on top, and then the other side is really blue. You can see the blue and the green up here and some of the purple in here. But literally all I did was take a cloth, and I did this to these yesterday. The finish kind of disappeared, but if I do it again, you can already see that it intensified. And I'm just cleaning it with like a random cloth. Look at that. It's super blue. But intensified because it's going to fade a little bit throughout the day, and this one faded as well. This one was really blue yesterday as well, and right now it's more purpley, but you can literally just and you can see how blue it got just from doing that. So these pieces, essentially, they're gonna get to this point as well. I think I will be putting a wax coating on it, which is what this has. I don't have to put a wax coating on it. I could also just leave them as is, and over time, that same patina process is going to happen, kind of similar to this one that I was showing to you earlier. You can see where my handprint has kind of oxidized onto this piece, and this piece hasn't been cleaned, and I'm still having to test them out and see what is the best. Like, I feel like people would want that purple finish more, but I can do the same with this one, but because this one is newer, it hasn't been touched as much. There's literally nothing happening to it. It's orange. So that process of oxidization does take a while. So that's the one that turned blue. And yesterday I was filming a video about this product right here, which is called Protected Clear, is by Everbright, and it's meant to go on jewelry to protect the jewelry from basically rusting and oxidizing. But it definitely didn't help these earrings that I had, and I don't know if it's because I put a very thin layer of the product on these. But you can kind of see, see, this camera is never going to focus, but you can kind of see how it's purple in some areas. It's faded a little bit. This one was the one that I washed according to the instructions of the product. So it's back to being more orange than purple, but I can also just wipe it down with this, and you still can't see it, but it's literally purple. I don't know where the blue comes out better. Trying to get an angle where you can see the purple, but it's not. But that's essentially right how these pieces are meant to be. They're meant to patina and oxidize over time, because they're meant to be held almost or touched almost every single day. But that's the exciting part about it. I'm still debating if I should put a protective coating on it or not. What the Renaissance wax does is just allow the oxidation process to happen more evenly. And that can be a little bit more apparent through the other earrings that I have, that I've worn, and the oxidation is even, and even on this one, the oxidation is even all throughout. There's some spots that are purple, but it's mainly blue. But on the other earrings that I have, the bull ones with the protected clear coating on it, the oxidation is uneven. There's areas that are more advanced. So there's some areas that are that dark blue, and there's some areas that are more purple, more pink. So I don't really know what happened there. Protected Clear claims that it's supposed to be anti-oxidation, anti-rust, and it's still oxidized and it's still rusted. So I'm excited to just like try something else, trying to go with that idea that copper is supposed to oxidize and you should just accept it for what it is, because it's beautiful as is. Or you could clean it, but I don't know if that's successful. And then the other thing is that the copper that is more textured is likely to not oxidize well. It's likely to oxidize darker tones like browns and go more into that already bright green color instead of turning blues and purples. And I have an example of that through this keychain that I made. I try to do the same thing as the other ones where I wiped it, and this one used to be textured and it's more matte now, but it's definitely more green, and you can see the undertones of purple in there, of orange, but it's definitely more green. But I do think that that depends on who wears it, how long you're wearing it, or how long do you touch it, what it has been exposed to. All of those things changes the oxidation of the copper and how it oxidizes. But that's why I think this project is so cool, specifically just because of allowing the copper to just be itself. And it's not supposed to be perfect or anything. So now we're done with all of the tiny flowers. I'll go to the side. We're done with all the tiny flowers. So now we're gonna move to the stems. And that's gonna be fun. So I'm gonna do the short stem first. That's the long one. Because they're short, I don't know. I don't really have a plan for this design. Everything is far apart that I don't have to worry too much about where I'm cutting. And I'm also making 2 cuts for this And I'll show you in a second why. And there we go. Very easy cut. But essentially, it's going to go from being a little bit thick to thin. That's all that it is. Again, very simple design. Very straightforward. I usually tell people not to do that, where you become really tight in one area. But the only reason why I'm doing that is because I'm trying to slow down to cut the piece. As long as you're not doing it for the entire time, that's fine. But the thing is, this blade is so strong that if I accidentally cut more than I need to, it's gonna make a dent on the design, and I don't want that. So for example here that I'm making a longer travel, I'm making a lot longer strokes with my saw. But here I'm going to connect, so I'm going to slow down. And there you go. Second line, that's what it looks like. So that's what we're going to do all throughout. I'm just going to make my way down, and it shouldn't be too complicated. And then we are an hour into this live stream, so I might do the horse and then end the live stream. I don't think I'll be able to tackle the flower, but as I've said before, we've done the flower in the previous live stream, so I'm glad I left that one for last, just in case I couldn't do anything with it, and I'd rather have these pieces that I haven't shown before. I don't want to do them because they're all different and they're all interesting. But metal cutting basically is just the same thing over and over. There's nothing crazy to it unless you're making really big pieces or very detailed pieces. But then again, like very detailed pieces, you cut the tiny details and then you move on to the next thing, and it's just that over and over, and it's very repetitive, very annoying sometimes. So I don't know. I don't know how that would be exciting too. But here we are. All right. That's the other one. And I'm just making my way down. There's nothing crazy to these. Like the rose was a little more interesting. There were a lot more curvature. But these just a lot more flowy, and they're actually very satisfying to cut. and we're going and we're traveling. And there we are. Now we go back. Alright, I just want to make that a little bit bigger. There's a lot of dust, as you can see. Just top it off. There we are. It's coming along together really well. I'm actually debating if I want to do the horse. I'm getting kind of tired sitting on this chair that has no support on the bottom. When I'm working on this, I tend to take a lot of breaks, but I don't want to go crazy. Let me check something real quick. Okay. And there's a few more lines and we're done. And I think it might rain, so it might be a good idea to end the live stream after this. We're an hour in anyways. There we go. And we're gonna go back up. This one is a little bit hard. It's a curvature one. They always make me a little bit nervous. But I will start from the inside this time instead of the outside, because it is curved. And the reason I started on the inside is because I'm gonna be cutting onto this side, right? Because I've been making the top wider than the rest. And if I try to do that, once I cut the outside, this is gonna want to bend. It won't be as bad because I'm just doing a little bit from the tops, but you can never be too careful. This metal is very thin, the blade is really strong, and so it could easily bend the design if it wanted. And that's only a thing that you learn with practice. I know when I'm gonna have weak points and things like that. you go. I keep tightening this way too hard, and I'm struggling to untighten it. So I have to be a little bit more careful. But even now, cutting these stems, I can tell where the weak points are. Okay, let me calm down because my bird is alerted by the noise. But essentially while cutting, you can kind of tell, or you can kind of feel the copper moving, and you can be like, oh, that's a weak point. That if I'm not careful and I do this too hard or I get stuck, you're going to lift up some of these areas in the middle and bend the copper. You don't want to do that. I think we do this one next. No, we'll do this one down here first. Yeah. So I don't have multiple weak spots happening. So we have 2 more holes to drill, and after this I'm going to take a slightly little break and continue the horse if it doesn't rain. I just want to be able to see when I do that one. There we go. You can feel it when it slips. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the middle one. This is the second to last hole. I'm going to start on the left side this time. I've been starting on the right. I don't know why. But I'm more of a person that likes to cut on the left. There we are. And we move back. Oh yeah, but one thing that helps, I forgot to mention this. One thing that helps is the bench pin. The bench pin has these areas, right? Like this area that's like this and this tiny one, where you can cut more tiny details. And that means like, because if I'm here, if I'm in this big area cutting this, I can feel that this is moving because that's a really long line there. You can kind of see it moving. So by cutting it here, where there's pressure on both sides, I'm not allowing myself to get kicked back from the saw or the blade. Now I'm not going to lift this, and there's no way that none of this is supported underneath or on the top with my hands, that it's going to bend. It could still happen, but that's why I'm always very careful about how I am cutting and where I'm cutting. And I'm used to cutting in this area when I'm making smaller pieces like these. The downside to it is that if you have a lot of positive space like I do, then you kind of like, your blade seems like gets to not go further than here. So when you're cutting, and if you're putting a lot of pressure on both sides, then you're just straining your blade a little bit. And that's the only downside, is that I can't see sometimes. So as I can't see here, I can't see going this way, and I sometimes saw onto the wood. And that's also annoying, but it's okay. Better that than accidentally bending your piece, because then that's a little bit harder to repair. But you can sacrifice a blade. So that's how we're looking. It's better to see in the darkness, I think. So a lot of these lines start thicker at the top, and it's just one line at the bottom, and that's what you saw me going back and taking away just the tops. And I think that looks really cool. It looks like fireworks. And this is one of the most popular designs when I did a poll on, or a poll, I can't pronounce the word, but when I did a voting on what designs were landing, or yeah, what designs would go with which tops. So we're done with this one. I'm gonna take a quick break, and we're gonna move on to this horse. And this one does have only one weak point, which is right here. It's gonna be very interesting. I think I have to go back and make at least a hole right there, so it's easier for me to work with it. But I'm gonna stand up real quick and clean my workstation and take whatever trash I find. So here's a broken drill bit. This is my drill bit. And then in the previous live stream, before it crashed, I broke a saw blade, and that's that. And I put it in this container because, like, when I throw it out, it's just easier to have it all in one, and that way the people looking through the trash don't hurt themselves because of me, because I'm just throwing trash to throw trash. And I do like cleaning my working station as I go, because otherwise, if you have a dirty working station, then you just feel dirty, or at least I feel a little bit claustrophobic. And these are the pieces that we did. This piece last live stream, this bowl, and we've done this flower before in another live stream, which is why I'm not going to do it. So we're not doing this one today. But these are the two that we've done so far. We did the cat and the butterfly as well in that last live stream with the bull. And I started the rose in part 1 of this live stream. We did this one, and now we're going to do the horse. And the horse also has a rose, so we're not doing the rose. I didn't even drill it because I'm like, I'm not even going to do it. Even though it wouldn't have been that difficult because the rose is really easy to do. But I'm going to stand up for a little bit because I'm tired. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. I don't know if any of you want to see my bird. He's not a place where I can grab him right now. Here he is. Here's the man that makes a lot of noise. He doesn't want to step down. He's scared. He's like, what is this? He knows what the camera is, and he doesn't like when I take pictures of him, and he doesn't like when he's recorded. Just don't poop on the art. He's like, grab me. I need to stand up a little bit. My chair is not low enough. So I have a cushion that usually helps like when I'm on my laptop for a very long time editing and things like that. It helps a lot to have that cushion because I have lower back issues. But I can't have the cushion because then it raises me a little bit too much while metal cutting. So I have to deal. I have to deal with it. Say hi, Clover. Just don't break anything. He's really strong. He's gaining a little bit too much confidence. I'm gonna take him away. I'll show him while I have him in my hand. He's like, no. He went straight for the phone. He loves biting my phone case. Just gonna put him back. He's kind of grounded because he bit me really badly the other day. But yeah. How's everybody doing? I still have a few more videos and shorts to edit and put out. I have a list of things that I'm yet to do. This is my list. You can't see it. My handwriting is so tiny. But I have on the very right, I have things that I've already filmed that need to be edited onto the big video. And then shorts that I've uploaded. So I need to do the cat. That's next. This is the second cat that I've done. The other cat is over here. So I need to do the cat. This cat. Then the butterfly. This other butterfly. This is the first butterfly. Ow. Horse. So this is the first horse that I did. I'm doing one of each for the most part. And the doggy, which I also did. I didn't do the doggy on the live stream, but I did this bottom section in a live stream. And then here's the other owl. And I think I did the owl in a live stream as well. I think. I don't know which live stream it is. For most of them, I do show what I'm working on. But for most of these, I don't. Okay. I'm just taking a break still. Because my butt hurts. Maybe I'll put the cushion down for now. Because it helps. Oh, I love this cushion so much. It's so helpful. I really like the cat with the rose. And the butterfly with this one. It's really hard to pair things up to see what works best. Hello, anybody who's joining. I'm currently taking a break because I've done some metal cutting already. It's been like an hour and something. I did a live stream before this one and something happened. For some reason, it wasn't loading for some people. So I let it go and decided to start the live stream over, and it seems to be doing really well so far as I can tell anyways. So that's good. Trying to see, because I know that the live stream was trying to upload, so I'm looking at it right now if it did upload or not. Usually it sometimes takes a few hours for it to upload, and that's fine. But sometimes it's good. Let's see. Live streams. Oh, it's ready to go. I might just I'm gonna make it public. Yeah, that one was 30 minutes. That was a 30-minute live stream. I don't know if the last half of it is even visible, because I got notice from some people watching that the screen was loading. So I have no idea if at the end it did load or not, but that's basically part one. Gonna add the part one on the title. And I'm just checking it right now to see if it stopped. I mean, it seemed to be doing, yeah, there's like a few minutes where it's just blank, so it didn't get all of it. But it's fine, I didn't do much. But I didn't catch most of it before my internet got really bad. That's okay. I am trying. To get this going. So it's public now. It was a 33-minute live stream, so we have been I have been live streaming for like 40, 50 minutes now, which is fine. It's only 3, so I have time to at least do this horse. And it shouldn't take that long. A lot of it is very simplistic. A lot of tiny details, not many holes. But yeah, so the live stream where I worked on the owl, that's almost 2 hours. And that was on April 9th. So if you're interested in seeing how the owl, or how this owl came to be, then you can check out the live stream for that. I'm trying to get this thing to load on my computer, but it's completely frozen. So that's great. That's awesome. I love that. It's just not wanting to work. Let me see if I can split. If I do that, does it work? Nope. It's like working, but it's not working. That's okay. Okay. Oh, thank you to those who have subscribed. I didn't realize that people subscribed. I appreciate you. And I can't seem to, it's just frozen. I can't do anything about it. Oh well. Okay. I think I'm gonna keep this cushion on because it just feels better that way. And we're gonna work on this horse. So like I said, check out the other live streams if you want to see what I've done so far. And I have a lot of shorts and things that I've been working on. I still have so many to upload. You can see most of them now, but I've been working a lot. It's just editing is a little bit of my enemy. I'm not good at it. But here we are. Let me clean up a little bit. I'm just trying to get this to work. All right, just give me a sec. Well, this loads because it's not loading for me. I can't even move it. Okay. All right, let's keep it going. So we're working on this horse now. I feel too tall with this cushion. There's nothing fancy to this. We'll see if I last, because usually I don't. With the cushion, I mean. It makes me be too high up, and I don't like it. Can't. Okay. Oh, all right. Well, it broke. This is the second blade I break in one day. I don't love that. They're really not that hard to install. Once you have the settings, well, everything set up for it, then it's very easy to put it back in and continue. There you go. And don't tell me this is not the right size. I'm kind of worried now. It feels so... I was struggling to put it through because are they too big? I thought these were the right ones. Oh shoot. Hold on, I have to flip this. mean, this is slightly thicker, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue, I think. They don't look the same thickness as the other ones. They're slightly thinner, so I don't know why I struggled to get it through the same line. But it's fine. I'll just keep going. Okay. Next, I'm gonna go back and clean up these corners because they're not perfect. When I'm going through them, I make them more soft. That should be good, I think. All right. And we're cutting some of these tiny details. I'm gonna do these tiny details first because they're the most annoying, and I want to get through them fast. So, and by annoying, I mean it's just a lot of like tiny cuts. And then taking the blade out and then inserting it into another tiny detail. Oh, and this is not that exciting. So I'd rather do these first and get them out of the way. And then move on to the more detailed pieces. Or parts. Sliding in. I've been thinking about what I've said earlier where I want to make some of these inspired by architecture. And I think the only reason why I didn't go for that the first time is because that would be a lot of work, which means that the pricing for those would be a lot higher than these. because I had an idea of what I wanted them to look like, but now thinking about it a little bit more, I'm just like, I see why I didn't go for that the first time. It's okay. Nope, still not working. Okay. Sorry. Sorry. This side of the piece is too long. I keep bumping into my camera stand. All right. And then there's this tiny one. Tiny, tiny, tiny hole. That looks like there's nothing there. And I questioned it when I drilled it, what it was, because I have no, I think it's the eye, actually. And it looks like nothing, but I do have to change it to not be a circle anymore. Because then that also looks kind of weird. So what I've been doing is I'm making it to a slight eye. And I don't know if that's correct, but it looks fine to me. So I looked onto the other one because I already did another horse. And I did remember that I was like, what is this? What? Why did I make this part of the design? Oh my goodness, I am too close. Okay, hold on. I have to move you guys back a little. That should be enough. If I stay back here, it should be enough. That's something that I'll have to keep in mind if I want to live stream more of this part of the top side, because if I'm this close and hit the camera, so I actually don't know if like having me so far away is a better view of what I'm doing. The one thing that I struggled with was that the quality, just like, I didn't know if it was because I was zoomed in, but the quality was not great. And I'm questioning it again. I could zoom in for a little bit and see. Whoop. How that goes and how that feels. Okay. Hold on, I think I want to cut the face first. But do I want to drill? Kind of don't want to drill, so I'm just going to have to be super careful as I cut this part of the face. See, because if I'm looking at it, at least for me, it looks very blurry. I don't know if it's blurry for you guys. So even though I don't like cutting on the right side, so say the design is on the right, I have to cut it on the right. trying to be careful here. I have to cut this all in one go. Like I can't really fix this after this. This is my one try. So I either got this or I don't. And I'm being very careful. Because this is where I can pull at this and it's not going to look good. And there we are. All right. Stressful part out of the way. We can storm on forward. This is a lot of like area that is kind of loose a little bit. So it is a little bit worrisome, but I've done it. This is my third time already, so kind of used to it. Not as bad as I originally thought. I'm just going to go back here though and fix that circle. I didn't want to fix it earlier as I was cutting, because it may not be a good idea when I'm doing something that tight. But all right, now we can move on to cutting the main exciting part. And this shouldn't take too long. These are just very curvy, straightforward lines. Nothing crazy. Why is this giving me? I'm gonna put lubricant on it because it's lifting a lot. Okay. And there we go. All right. Sorry if I'm a little bit quiet. I've kind of run out of things to say. This could possibly be my last live stream in a while. Unless, I mean, I could come back and do this bowl that we were talking about earlier, this flower. And then there's another one of these. Actually, no, I'm not doing that one anymore. Okay. Well, then never mind. I mean, because the other ones I have to record. That's the thing. And I wasn't sure if I was going to make more of these. I kind of want to make new designs and just have 2 of each of these. I'm a little bit unsure on what exactly I want to do. I do have copper to make a few more sculptural pieces for this show. So I might do that because I think that would be cool. And I have some ideas of what I could do. Especially now that my newest saw blade is 12 inches deep. There's definitely a lot more I can do. I like this horse design. I could definitely take it bigger and make a more sculptural piece out of it. That's kind of like where my brain is at in terms of like what I'm thinking about for the new designs that nobody asked me for, but I want to do. So I think they would be cool. But I could also I could also just leave that for something else and expand on the flowers more maybe for this. Okay. Oop. I hope this is visible. For me, it's still very blurry. I don't really know what to do about that. I just don't have many options when it comes to streaming through the phone. But like I said, I am recording just regular videos of this, and I'll have a long video on most of these designs, I think. All right. And we have a little bit more to go. I'm gonna go back and cut the tiny ones because I think we're left with a really big negative space, and that's it. Yep. Actually, there's another one. I forgot to drill that. This is the second time that I forgot to drill something. I guess I was just really moving fast through them yesterday when I was drilling. So I'm gonna have to go back and drill that one really quick before moving on to the big one because I do want to leave the big one for last. And also, it's better to cut the big one last just because if I cut the big negative space first, it just leaves for a lot of weaknesses in the copper because of the design, so I don't want that. This was a very small detail piece. Alright, so I'm gonna drill that. Can I drill it here? Will it do anything? If I do that, just putting a little bit of the oil into my drill bit so it cuts through this smoothly. And this is gonna be louder than the saw, so I'm trying to put it away from me. There we go. very fast to drill. But here we go. All right. All right. All right. And now we move on to the very last piece. And that's basically it. I'm gonna start. I mean, I guess I could go this way. When I make these tight turns, I actually turn, but I also try to go back a little bit. So I'm just making like a half a circle. And I'm not moving forward. Because if you move forward, then you're cutting onto the design itself. Now I can't really do that to this, so I'm just going to make a tiny triangle. And that creates a big enough spot for me to just turn around and continue cutting. Oops. Maybe we'll go all the way around. And again, I don't think I can turn. Oh, I probably can. Okay. And I just have to fix this straight line. That wasn't so straight. And make sure that everything else is good. And there we are. We got done with this piece. That's what it looks like. Details. It just looks so blurry on my camera. There we are. I really do love that swoop. It gives it a lot of character. But if I do continue to cut this one, I might have to get rid of that tiny dot because I don't really know what that's doing there. But it somewhat works. I think I just have to fix the design of it a little bit. And that's that. So today we cut this, the top of this rose, and this flowy design. Thank you guys so much for watching and sticking with me for 2 hours. I appreciate those who have been the entire time. I know this is very repetitive and there isn't much to it. So yeah, I understand that aspect of it, but I do appreciate everybody who watched. This video, the live stream will be uploaded right after it loads and it processes. That will take like 1 hour or 2 hours, specifically because this video is pretty long, or this live stream is pretty long. So if you want to go back and watch the beginning, that's not the part one of this. So when I started working, that is already published. So if you want to go back and watch that one, that was 33 minutes. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. I don't know when I'll be live streaming again. Like I said, I don't have any other designs to work on off camera. Like I have to record some of them. I might come back to just like do a draw with me while I try to come up with a design for a new one. But I'm unsure of that as well. But otherwise, you can follow me on Instagram at Handmade Imperfection. That is my jewelry. That's where I do a lot of the jewelry and a lot of these pieces. And then I also have my official Instagram where I upload all of the, what do you call it? All of my sculptural work. And that's at Diana Laura Designs. Same as the name of this YouTube channel. But aside from that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.